Did you get a chance to travel? Have you traveled a lot before having to travel for this show abroad?
Yeah, I'd done a little bit, but this was my second time to Asia. The first time I was there, I was in my late 20s and I lived in Tokyo for a year. And then my dad was in the Air Force, and so I just moved around a lot and moved around in the States, but we did live in Turkey, in Incirlik, Turkey, for 2 years when I was very, very young. And so travel and exploring new environments is kind of in my DNA. And so when Mike was, said where the show was, because I said yes to the show before I knew where it was. That's how much I love him. We were out to dinner and he was just like, I'm thinking of bringing Belinda back. And I was just like, say less. And when I finally found out where it was, I was so excited because I had never been to Thailand. And it's such a very specific country. I don't know if you know this, but Thailand has never been colonized. It has never been in a war, and it's often referred to by Thai people as the land of many smiles. So it was a beautiful place to be where the country you're in is not in a constant state of historical trauma like the US, and to have that like that levity because they never experienced colonialism, they never been to war, they have this like the zen and peace is kind of built into the DNA of the country, and it was just a magical place to be.
Yeah, I have been there before. So I was, and like you, I have the military in common. My father was in the Marine Corps.
Oh, that's
So
right.
we traveled all the time and we did a lot,
Yes.
a
So you
lot.
know what it's like to it's nothing for us to be in these new environments. I also when I talk to other military brats, I don't know if you know, Jay Ellis is an Air Force brat
I
from
did not know
Insecure.
that.
Yeah, and
That makes sense.
yes, and we were talking that so many people whose parents were in the armed services find themselves in the arts because it's like military moves. You go and do a show, you become really close, you're there for a little bit and then you move. It kind of works with how we were brought up.
That's absolutely right. I've had that conversation many times with people over the years. I'm glad you brought it up and I didn't. I try to navigate it where I'm not asking all the questions and just do the thing. What else? You know what I wanted to ask you? When I was watching it, I hollered out loud when y'all were walking across that bridge and that little creature was going across the bridge. I'm like, see, now Mike is wrong for bringing the black girl realness to a situation because
Woo!
we are not the ones for the critters.
No, I am, and me especially. And I had to, so let me paint a picture. So before that scene happened, as you know, when animals are on set, they introduce the people in the scene with the animal, with the trainer. And so the AD texted me, he was just like, you mentioned you were afraid of lizards, like how afraid? And I was like, what you mean? And he was
Mm-mm,
just
not
like, well,
how afraid.
how close are you comfortable? And I was like, I'm close with comfortable as long as like there's a trainer in the room and it works for the scene because my character is not meant to be cool with it. If my character is supposed to be cool with it, that might not have worked. But if my character is meant to be afraid, we can get a little close. And so he's like, well, we're going to have you meet the lizard. So I had to meet this lizard and I was shaking. I met him. I touched the
Like it was a
lizard
play date. I
like it's
can't.
a play date. And I was just like, okay, nice to meet you. And this lizard did not go to theater school like I went to theater school. So I was just like, listen, you and me, I looked at the lizard. I was like, you cannot run for me, just run by me. And on the day, this lizard was so fast when it moved because I didn't see it run. And they had these little clear strings on its neck to make sure that it didn't come for us. And it kept coming right at me. I felt like it just completely betrayed the pact that we made. I was so upset, but it
Baby, it
worked.
do. But then last but not least, I have to ask you about this scene, the whispering scene, girl. First of all, mm, in that particular scene, you're divulging a key piece of information for the season, right? So, first of all, how difficult was that to do? Because it's hard enough speaking full throated and
Yes.
being understood, with your enunciation and your pronunciation. How many times did you have to shoot that? And how did you train, girl? Because I was looking at you going, okay, I can understand her, but I know that I know as an actor, I know that was not easy.
Yeah, it's very hard to find the right pitch of whisper where the mic can pick you up and the person across from you can hear you, but it's believably hushed for the environment. And we did it a bunch of times, and I had just when we did it the first time, Mike and I, we really kind of calibrated where the voice needed to be, and we only played with intensity. Like I learned this from him season one, like I'm the very, we're very similar. We're very good at what we do and we're the good student. So when the director gives us a direction, we nail it. And he picked one of the quieter takes, was just like really trying to like project while whispering and really focusing on Fabian, played by Christian, in that scene, just to show how afraid Belinda was in that moment. And I kind of tried to let the whisper and the voice kind of carry in that soft way.
I loved how Mike let Belinda be a full throated, say it with your chest kind of character.
Yeah.
She was authentically black, but
Yep.
she was authentically a mom. She was
Mm-hmm.
authentically someone who had a romantic life and a job that didn't involve her being a maid. She wasn't
Yes.
someone, she was someone of service, but of a different type of service. And I
Yeah.
appreciated all of that. And I imagine that must have been wonderful for you to get to play.
Oh, yeah. And we worked on it. When I got cast season one, that was my first, conversation with my agents. I was just like, and mind you, it was so funny. I didn't audition the first season, if you can believe it. I just met with Mike. They were just like, Mike wants to meet with you. He's working on this thing. And
I
we
can
had
believe that.
yeah, I couldn't,
Like,
I
why
had a
you playing?
conversation. And after I found out what the role was, after we talked and he sort of talked me through what it was, I let my team know. I was like, I'm nervous taking on a black character in a mostly white cast who's in a servile position. I want to make sure she has 10 toes down. Would Mike be open to working with me? Because I'm a writer as well, and just making sure that we're not, veering into tropes. And he jumped at it. When I tell you he is so enthusiastic about like collaborating, that's one of the things I love about him. And because we're both writers, we geek out about the words, and he knows because I wrote for someone else when I was also in the show. I never tried to like write myself into a scene or make it more about me. There's no ego when I write. To me, I'm like, let's tell the best story, and he's the best writer, and so it's in service of the story he's telling. And so we really clicked when we collaborated. And in season two, we did the same process. I met with him, and we were, did every page of Belinda's. We went through, and I would give him ideas about, oh, she's going to wear a bonnet to bed, and he's like, got you, and I pitched him the idea. It's just like Belinda seeing a black couple traveling, in that first episode. I was like, that happens every time I travel. Luxury travel, when black people see other black people in those spaces, we have to show that moment where she gets to see herself in that space and gets to dream. And that made the cut. And he's so wonderful about, working together to avoid those pitfalls that often happen when you have a black character in a role in a mostly homogenous environment, in a servile position. And so it's a joy to play a character that's so 10 toes down. And this season, we really get to see her bloom. And so we get to see even more of that, which is just so exciting to play and such an honor. Like, I love him and I love this work. And I have, like Belinda, I want to take care of her so much. And so to be able to play her again was just a dream come true. It would have been easy for me to be quiet. It would have been easy for me not to say something. But I feel like in doing that, it's not just benefiting me, it's benefiting all of us. It's showing the industry our capacity as women and how we are not one dimensional. We're not a monolith where we have all of these different colors. And so thank you for saying that. That means a lot coming from you. It really does.
Listen, I know you're not that girl, and so I would be remiss. Okay, I'm I'm keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100, girl.
I know you're not that girl. And so I was like, let me just acknowledge that while I'm speaking to you and let you
Thank you.
know that if I saw that, and I think that there are other people that concur. So I just wanted you to know that from me because I'm a friend and a fan, but you know this.
Yes, you know this. You know this.
But with that, girl, I'm gonna let you go. And I thank you so much for popping through and saying hi to your good girlfriend, the Curvy Film Critic. And
That's
I hope we
right.
get to do this again. You're a great interview. I love talking to you.
Likewise, likewise. I hope we get to do this again.
I would love that.
Awesome.
All right.
All right.